Hi everyone, I'm Pete, and over the past 30 years, I've been responsible for managing multi-billion-dollar government contracts across both domestic and international theaters, spanning defense acquisition programs, critical infrastructure development, and large-scale federal procurement initiatives. Let me tell you about the biggest mistake I see new government contractors make. They spend hours, sometimes entire days, refreshing their SAM.gov account, waiting for that perfect bid opportunity to drop. They're convinced that's where all the action is. But here's what they're missing. There's a massive parallel market happening right under their noses. And I mean massive. We're talking billions of dollars in annual purchases that never touch SAM.gov, never get formally competed, never even show up in your typical bid searches. It's called the micro purchase threshold, and government employees use it every single day. When an agency needs office furniture, specialized software, emergency IT support, or professional training, and the purchase is under the simplified acquisition threshold, they're pulling out what we call the pcard, the government purchase card. No formal solicitation, no 47-page proposal, no competing against 15 other contractors. Just a government employee with a need, a credit card, and the authority to buy from you today. This is where small businesses actually break in, not by winning some massive IDIQ, but by being the solution when an agency needs something now. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to position yourself to capture this revenue stream. You know what traditional government contracting looks like. Months of waiting, mountains of paperwork, compliance matrices, past performance references. It's exhausting. But micro purchases, they work completely differently. A micro purchase is any government buy that falls under a specific dollar threshold. And here's the key. It's exempt from most of the federal procurement regulations that make contracting so complicated. We're typically talking $10,000 for supplies and equipment and $2,500 for services. So how does this actually work? The government issues what's called a government-wide commercial purchase card, or what everyone just calls the P card. It's essentially a corporate credit card with your tax dollars backing it. When a contracting officer or an authorized cardholder needs something that's under threshold, they don't create a solicitation. They don't post to SAM.gov. They don't wait for quotes. They find a vendor, hopefully you, and they swipe the card. That's it. The transaction happens just like you buying something on Amazon. Fast, clean, no contract vehicle required, no lengthy negotiations. This is why micro purchases are the fastest way for small businesses to start generating government revenue. You're not navigating procurement regulations, you're just making a sale. Now I know what you're thinking. There's got to be a catch. The government always requires competition, right? Wrong. Let me read you something straight from the Federal Acquisition Regulation, FAR 13.203. Quote, micro purchases may be awarded without soliciting competitive quotations. Read that again. Without soliciting competitive quotations. This isn't some loophole someone discovered by accident. This is official federal policy. Here's why this exists. The government did the math. They figured out that the administrative burden of running a competitive process, posting solicitations, reviewing quotes, documenting price reasonableness, justifying the selection, all of that costs more than what they'd actually save by finding a lower price. Think about it. If a program manager needs a $3,000 piece of software and it takes 10 hours of government employee time at $100 an hour to run a proper competition, they just spent $1,000 to maybe save $300. That's terrible math. So what does this mean for you? It means a government buyer can choose to work with you directly. No bid, no proposal, no competition. They just need to verify your price is reasonable, and we'll talk about how to make that easy for them. This is the regulatory foundation that makes the whole P-card market possible. So here's where everything you think you know about government contracting gets flipped on its head. Micro purchases aren't won on SAM.gov. They're won in relationships. This isn't bid-based selling, this is relationship-based selling, and that changes your entire strategy. Think about how a government employee actually uses their pcard. They have a need, maybe their team needs cybersecurity training, or they need to replace a broken piece of equipment. They're not going to post a solicitation and wait 3 weeks for responses. They're going to ask themselves, who do I already know that can solve this problem? That means your job isn't to write better proposals than your competitors. Your job is to be known when the need arises. You need to be the name that comes to mind, the vendor they've heard of, the company they saw at the trade show, the expert who provided value in a LinkedIn post last month. This requires a completely different approach. You need direct outreach to agencies. You need visibility at industry events. You need educational content that positions you as a subject matter expert. You need to build trust before the purchase card comes out. Most contractors are sitting behind their computers waiting for opportunities to be posted. You're going to be out there making sure when a cardholder has a problem, your name is the first one they think of. That's how you win in the micro purchase market. All right, so you've got the micro purchase strategy down. You're building relationships, you're visible, and you're starting to win those quick P-card sales. Now let me show you how to scale that up. There's another tier that works very similarly, but with much bigger dollar amounts. It's called the Simplified Acquisition Threshold, or SAT. We're talking purchases from the micro purchase limit all the way up to $250,000. Here's the first advantage. These purchases are automatically set aside for small businesses. That means you're not competing against large companies. You're competing against other small firms just like you. The playing field is level. Second, the contracting officer doesn't have to award to the lowest price. They can use what's called best value evaluation. That means your technical approach matters. Your past performance matters. Your understanding of their mission matters. You can win based on being the best solution, not just the cheapest. But here's the real secret. For simplified acquisitions, contracting officers often don't even post publicly. They'll send a request for a quote to just 3 vendors they already know and trust, maybe from their local area, maybe from past purchases, maybe from someone they met at an industry day. If you're on that short list of 3, you've got a 33% chance of winning a 6-figure contract. That's not competing against 40 bidders on a full and open solicitation. That's a real opportunity. And how do you get on that list? The same way you win micro purchases: relationships, visibility, and proven capability. Now let me give you a ridiculously simple tactic that most contractors completely miss. Put credit card logos on everything: your website, your capability statement, your email signature, Visa, MasterCard, Amex. Make them prominent. Why? Because when a government cardholder sees those logos, they instantly know, I can buy from this vendor right now. No purchase order, no contract vehicle, no waiting. It signals you understand how they buy and you've made it frictionless. That tiny visual cue removes doubt and speeds up their decision. Add those logos today, make it impossible for buyers to miss that you're ready for their P-card. All right, here's where we get tactical. If you want to win micro purchases, you need to stop waiting for opportunities and start creating them. This is outreach-based selling, and that means you need to find the actual people holding those P-cards. First, identify your target offices. Go to usaspending.gov and search for agencies spending money. Look for patterns. Which offices are buying your type of product or service consistently? Which ones have steady purchasing activity quarter after quarter? Those are your targets. Second, find the actual decision maker. And here's the thing, it's not always a contracting officer. For micro purchases, the cardholder might be a program manager, an office administrator, a department head, or a technical lead. These are the end users who have P-card authority and the need for what you offer. Third, reach out directly. Don't overthink this. A simple, professional email or phone call works. Here's your script. Hi, I'm X name with Y company. We're a small business capable of your service or product. We're registered in SAM.gov and set up to accept pcard micro purchases. I'd like to introduce our capabilities and be a resource when needs arise in your office. That's it. You're clear about what you do, you've signaled you understand how they buy, and you've positioned yourself as a solution for future needs, not pushing a sale today. Most contractors never make this call. That's your advantage. Start building your list this week. Here's the bigger picture. The micro purchase market isn't glamorous, but it's your fastest path to federal revenue and the foundation for everything that comes after. Focus on those sub $10,000 purchases first. No competition, just execution. Build your track record here. Don't wait for SAM.gov postings. They won't be there. Success requires relationships and visibility. And market your pcard readiness everywhere. Make it impossible to miss that you're easy to work with. Here's the strategy. Take the small job nobody else wants. Do exceptional work. Then use that past performance to win the bigger contracts. Micro purchases aren't the destination. They're your entry point into the federal marketplace. Start small, win consistently, scale deliberately.